I've been running the Insta360 One RS for the last year and a half, so I wanted to do an update review video to let you all know, is this camera still worth your money? Let's get into it. First of all, I want to talk about dependability. This is true for all of the Insta360 cameras and any one that I've used. They are insanely dependable cameras. They're like the perfect workhorse. They're never going to let you down. They're always going to work. I haven't run into any weird glitches or random switching to time-lapse like some other action cameras can do. These cameras have always worked phenomenally. I've used them in a huge variety of conditions, whether it be at the beach and in the ocean with my family, all the way to -20 temperatures snowboarding in Wyoming. I've never run into any sort of issues or hiccups where I've had the camera like lock up, have to pop the battery out, or do anything like that. These cameras have always worked fantastic for me, and the Insta360 One RS is no different. And in terms of dependability, I also want to touch on the battery life. The battery life on this camera is absolutely insane. No matter the weather conditions, the temperatures, wherever I'm taking these cameras, the battery life does not seem to be hindered one bit. You never notice any sort of dip in performance. On that note, I do just want to say, if you use my link, you do get a free battery with this camera. Link down below with an affiliate link. It helps support the channel. Definitely check it out if you're looking at getting one of these cameras. But even in -20 temperatures where I had this camera in Jackson Hole, I was still able to film from about 8 o'clock till 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And I switched the battery out, not because it was dead, but because it was getting lower, and I wanted to make sure that I just had a fresh battery when we went back out on the mountain. But again, I made it through an entire day in these extreme scenarios on almost one battery. Definitely never need more than 2, which compared to a lot of other action cameras, you got to pack multiple batteries in your pocket and you're switching them out constantly. That's not something you ever have to worry about with these cameras. The battery life and performance is fantastic. Again, that's true with all of the Insta360 cameras. I think they do a really great job of that. This camera is unique in the fact that it has 2 different lenses. You have a 4K single lens, as well as you have the 360 lens. You can take it apart, put it back together, and it just gives you a really versatile camera. I can't comment too much on the 4K single lens because I only really used it to get these super wide shots, and I did use it paddleboarding. It does have a really great image quality, but again, I bought this camera just to focus primarily on the 360 performance. But if you are somebody that wants a camera that can shoot both, I think this camera is going to do really well for you. I primarily ran this camera to get 360 footage on my helmet. I like the way that it fits on the helmet. It's very comfortable. You almost forget it's up there, and it doesn't, bobble or wiggle or feel like it weighs your helmet down at all. Honestly, about halfway through the day, you kind of forget it's there, and so that was normally where I would leave it. It does do a really great job of the 360 footage on the selfie stick as well, if you do want to use it for that, but for me, this I bought to use as a helmet-mounted camera. I have used it on the selfie stick a few times, but like I said, normally I just left it on my helmet. It also works for really well if you're a mountain biker and you're wanting like that perfect 360 chest cam shot. I think it fits really well for that because it is smaller, and again, you're just able to capture everything and reframe those shots and give a really immersive feel for mountain bike shots. It does a really, really good job. That's why I like it on the helmet when I'm snowboarding, is because where it does have that super wide 360 angle, you're able to reframe everything, and it just gives a very immersive feel. And I've had so many people comment on my videos saying, what camera are you using for that helmet shot? And this camera has always done well for that. One thing that a lot of people don't talk about that this camera has that I think gives it an advantage over some other cameras is actually you have a little foam mic cover built into the cage, which does a really great job of blocking out wind noise and actually improving the audio of the camera. It's kind of a hidden feature and nobody really seems to touch on it, but it's definitely a standout feature on this camera for me. Again, I haven't run into any issues over the last year and a half with this camera. It's always worked really, really well for me, and I think as a whole, just Insta360 cameras make filming and editing easier. They make everything about using an action camera easy. They're easy to use, their software is amazing and makes it super intuitive, very easy to edit and get some amazing shots with, and then they just as a whole make it easier to enjoy the activity without constantly having to worry of, are you capturing the shot, is your angle just right? They do a really great job of being able to go out, you're enjoying your activity all day, and then come back and check out all your footage and reframe it at night. I've never had footage come back on this camera and be like, oh, I wish my angle was just a little bit better, or this or that. Like, that's a thing in the past. It never happens anymore. You're always going to get a perfect angle with these cameras, and that's why I love using them, is because I'm able to just enjoy whatever I'm out there doing and worry about the shots in post. I think as a whole, this camera's just gonna give you absolutely beautiful shots, especially if the light's perfect and you can use the HDR mode. They're easy to mount and they're incredibly dependable cameras. I never have to worry about anything with these cameras. I love using these cameras because they give you such a fun variety of mounting options and different ways to shoot, and it just gives you so many more things you can put into your videos when you are editing later. The Insta360 One RS is one of my favorite cameras that I've ever used, and I can't recommend grabbing one enough. If you have any questions about this camera or anything at all, hit me down in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you out. One final thought, if you are picking one of these up, definitely get the accident protection. It's like $30 or $40 more and it's gonna save your butt in the event that you scratch a lens. It's way cheaper than paying for the full replacement, and it's just a nice peace of mind thing to have. Thank you guys for checking this video out. We'll see you in the next one soon.